Welcome back. Think all quarters are worth just 25 cents. Think again. Some Washington quarters, especially certain years and mint errors, are worth serious money. Today, I'm going to show you the quarters that collectors are hunting for, and how you can check your own pocket change for hidden value. You might have a rare coin and not even know it. First up, 1995 D Washington quarter dollar coin condition some scratches. This coin belongs to the well-known and widely circulated Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 and carried the image of George Washington on the obverse for many decades. The 1995 D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small d mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin near the bottom right of George Washington's portrait just above the date. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins, making this year's issue very common in both circulated and lightly worn condition. On the obverse side of the coin, George Washington faces left with his hair tied in a colonial style, and the inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date 1995. The D-Mint mark appears clearly and helps identify this specific version. In a coin with some scratches, the high points on Washington's face, such as the cheek, jawline, and hair details, might appear worn or dulled. Scratches may also appear across the background fields, which are the flat areas surrounding the portrait. These small marks can come from years of handling contact with other coins or surfaces and storage in less protected conditions. The reverse of the 1995 D quarter features the traditional eagle design, which had been in use since 1932. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches below. Above the eagle are the inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum," and below it reads "quarter dollar." In a circulated coin with scratches, this side of the coin may show visible marks across the eagle's wings or body, and the fields behind it may have faint lines or dull patches. Despite this, the main design is typically still easily visible and recognizable. The 1995 D quarter is made from a copper core with outer layers of copper and nickel, which gives the coin a bright silvery color when new. However, over time and with circulation, this color can fade and lose its shine. The scratches and marks from usage may appear as thin or shallow lines across the surface. Depending on how the coin was stored or handled, it may also show signs of dirt, toning, or light discoloration, especially around the rim or on the high points. The edge of the coin is reeded with small vertical grooves, which may be slightly worn down but are usually still intact in most circulated examples. In terms of value, the 1995 D quarter in circulated condition with some scratches is typically worth its face value unless it has an unusual error or is in exceptionally high grade. The large number of coins minted in that year means they are very common and easy to find even in circulation today. Most collectors would look for higher grade examples if they are building a mint state collection. However, circulated coins like this are still useful for educational purposes and for collectors who want to complete a year and mint mark set without spending a lot of money. There are some collectors who seek out 1995 D quarters with unique features such as double die, cracks, or off-center strikes. These minting errors are uncommon, but if present, they can increase the value of the coin significantly depending on the type and how visible the error is. A scratched coin with such an error might still be considered valuable if the error is strong and appealing enough to collectors of variety coins. Proper care of even a circulated coin can help maintain its current condition. Storing the coin in a protective holder or a coin album can prevent further scratching or wear. It is not recommended to clean the coin because cleaning often causes additional surface damage and lowers the appeal for serious collectors. Leaving the coin in its natural state is always best when considering long-term value or future display in a collection. Although this coin may not be rare, it is still a part of the long history of United States coinage and reflects the design and minting quality of the mid-1990s. It is a part of the final years before the introduction of the state quarters in 1999, which brought a major change to the reverse design. For this reason, many collectors appreciate and include 1995 D quarters in their overall Washington quarter collections. Even with scratches, this coin has a place in numismatic study and collecting for those interested in modern American coinage. Next up we have 1983 P Washington quarter dollar coin condition, some scratches. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932 and continued with its original reverse eagle design until 1998. The 1983 P quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is identified by the small p mint mark located to the right of George Washington's ribbon on the obverse side just above the year. This mint mark began appearing on Philadelphia quarters in 1980, making the 1983 issue one of the earlier years to carry it. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of George Washington with the inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" and the date 1983. The presence of some scratches on the surface means the coin has been in circulation and handled by many over the years. These scratches are often visible on the high points of Washington's cheek, forehead, and hair, or they may appear as fine lines in the background fields around the portrait. Even with scratches, the portrait usually remains fully recognizable, though it may appear dull or worn in areas where the metal has been flattened from contact. The reverse of the coin features the traditional design used from 1930 to 1998, showing a bald eagle with wings spread perched on a bundle of arrows with an olive branch beneath. Around the eagle appear the inscriptions "United States of America, Pluribus Unum," and quarter dollar. On scratched coins, the feathers on the eagle's chest, wings, and legs may appear worn down, or the fields may have light surface marks. These flaws are typical for coins that circulated heavily in the 1980s and beyond. The composition of the 1983 quarter is a copper core bonded with a copper-nickel outer layer, giving the coin a silver tone. Over time, this surface can lose its original brightness, especially when exposed to moisture, heat, or rough handling. Scratches usually result from contact with other coins in pockets, cash drawers, or coin machines. They may also be caused by the coin being dropped or rubbed against hard surfaces. The reeded edge of the coin often remains mostly intact even when the faces show clear signs of wear. One important fact about 1983 quarters is that no official mint sets were released to the public that year because of this many higher quality. Examples were not preserved in uncirculated condition by collectors at the time. As a result, 1983 quarters in true mint state condition are harder to find than quarters from nearby years. This gives well-preserved coins from 1983 a slightly stronger collector interest. However, the presence of scratches on this coin means it would not be among those sought after in circulated examples. Still, it represents an important year in modern coinage history and fills a gap in many circulated coin collections. The value of a 1983 P quarter with some scratches is typically around face value for general circulation. Heavily circulated coins with noticeable wear and marks are considered common and not rare. However, some collectors look for 1983 P quarters with mint errors, such as double die up versus off-center strikes or die cracks. These errors can raise the value even on coins that are otherwise circulated if the mistake is dramatic and eye-catching. Since this coin has some scratches, it may still be suitable for use in a date and mint mark collection, especially if the collector is not focused on condition. It can be placed in a protective holder or coin album to help prevent additional damage over time. It is best not to clean the coin because cleaning often causes more harm than good by adding unnatural scratches or dulling the surface. Keeping the coin in its current natural state helps retain its historical character. This coin is part of the final stretch of years before major changes arrived in the Washington quarter series. Starting in 1999, the state quarter program introduced 50 new designs over 10 years, bringing renewed attention to the quarter denomination. Quarters like the 1983 P version stand as examples of the more traditional era of American coin design, when the eagle reverse was still in use and most coins shared a consistent style. In conclusion, the 1983 P Washington quarter dollar coin in scratch condition is a common example from the early 1980s. Its collector value is modest due to its condition, but it is still a meaningful part of a complete Washington quarter collection. The fact that mint sets were not released in 1983 makes the year slightly more interesting to collectors who appreciate the historical context of each coin they add to their collection. Even with scratches, this coin carries the legacy of American coinage through everyday use and remains a small but notable piece of numismatic history. Next up we have 1965 Washington quarter dollar coin without mint mark condition circulated. This coin belongs to an important transitional period in United States coinage history. The year 1965 marked the first time that the Washington quarter was produced without any silver content. Prior to 1965, all quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, due to a nationwide coin shortage and rising silver prices, the United States Mint decided to change the composition to a copper core with a clad layer of copper and nickel. This change began officially in 1965 and continued for all circulating quarters going forward. The 1965 quarter does not carry a mint mark even though coins were struck at multiple facilities. During this time, the mint decided not to include mint marks on coins in an effort to discourage coin hoarding and speculation. For this reason, all 1965 quarters look the same in terms of mint origin regardless of where they were produced. The total mintage for this coin was extremely high, with over 1 billion coins struck, making it one of the most common quarters in circulation from the mid-20th century. The obverse side of the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington facing left with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date 1965. In a circulated coin, the portrait may appear dull and worn, especially along the hairline, cheek, and jaw where the metal has been flattened from years of handling. The fields around the portrait may show light scratches or smooth areas where the original texture has faded. Despite this, the date and other features usually remain readable unless the coin has experienced extremely heavy wear. The reverse design displays the heraldic eagle with wings spread standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. Above the eagle are the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, and below the words quarter dollar. In circulated condition, the eagle's feathers may appear less defined, and some of the details in the arrows and branches may be faint. The overall image remains intact, but the surface of the coin might appear dull gray or show signs of dark toning, especially near the edges. Because of the massive number of coins produced in 1965 and their continued use in commerce for decades, most examples today are found in circulated condition like this one. These coins generally carry little to no premium in the collector market unless they are in extremely high grade or contain a minting error. Coins that are fully uncirculated or graded in mint state can attract collector interest, but circulated ones with visible wear are mostly valued for their historical interest rather than rarity. There are a few varieties and errors associated with the 1965 quarter that are worth noting. Some collectors look for transitional errors, such as a 1965 quarter struck on a silver planchet from 1964. These are very rare and can command high prices at auction. Other types of errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks, can also raise the value of individual coins, but these are exceptions and not the norm. A standard circulated 1965 quarter without any such errors remains a common piece of United States coinage. Even in circulated condition, the coin represents a turning point in American monetary policy. The move away from silver not only changed the physical makeup of coins, but also affected their perceived value and role in everyday transactions. The 1965 quarter was built to be durable and cost-effective, and millions of these coins continue to circulate even today. Collectors often seek examples from this year to represent the start of the clad era in their collections. Storage and preservation of circulated coins is important if one wishes to slow further deterioration. Well, this coin has already seen extensive use. Placing it in a coin holder or album can help protect it from additional scratches and environmental damage. It is never advisable to clean circulated coins, as this can reduce their collectible value even further by leaving marks or removing original surfaces. In summary, the 1965 Washington quarter, without a mint mark in circulated condition, is a widely available coin that carries historical importance rather than monetary value. It represents the start of a major shift in U.S. coinage materials and design philosophy. While not considered rare, this coin remains significant for anyone studying or collecting modern American coins and helps tell the story of the evolving nature of money in the 20th century. Next up we have 1970 for Washington quarter dollar coin without mint mark condition circulated. This coin is part of the Washington quarter series, which was introduced in 1930 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The 1970 for quarter continues the original design style used for decades before the state quarters program began in 1999. By this time, the coins were struck in a copper nickel-clad composition introduced in 1965, replacing the 90% silver plankets previously used. The obverse side of the 1970 for quarter features the left-facing portrait of George Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Above Washington's head appears the word liberty, and then just beneath his chin is the national motto, "In God We Trust." The year 1970 is found at the bottom of the coin, as this example is circulated. Signs of wear are likely to appear on high points of the design, such as Washington's forehead hair and jawline. These areas often appear smooth or slightly flattened from years of handling and friction against other coins or surfaces. There is no mint mark on this coin, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. From 1968 onward, the Philadelphia Mint began including the letter P as a mint mark on some coins, but not on quarters until much later. So the absence of a mint mark is typical for quarters from Philadelphia during this period. Philadelphia quarters are generally the most common among all mints unless an unusual error or variety is involved. The reverse of the coin carries the traditional heraldic eagle design. The eagle is shown with wings spread facing left, perched on a bundle of arrows with two olive branches beneath. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top and "quarter dollar" at the bottom. Just above the eagle in smaller font is the phrase "E pluribus unum." On circulated coins like this one, the eagle's feathers may be visibly worn, and the arrows or branches may show reduced detail. Surface discoloration or small nicks and scratches may also appear on both sides of the coin due to extended use. The coin's clad composition includes a pure copper core and outer layers of copper-nickel alloy, which gives it a silver appearance. Unlike silver coins, these clad coins do not hold intrinsic metal value, but are built for durability and longevity in circulation. Over time, the surfaces of circulated quarters tend to lose their luster and take on a dull gray or brown tone. In heavily worn examples, it is common to see darker spots or edge toning, especially near the rims or within the recessed areas of the designs. The total mintage of 1970 for quarters from the Philadelphia Mint was well over 800 million, making this one of the most abundant years in the Washington quarter series. For this reason, circulated examples do not generally carry significant value beyond face value unless a rare mint error or variety is present. High-grade uncirculated specimens or certified coins with perfect surfaces may attract collector interest, but common circulated coins remain inexpensive and widely available. While circulated coins may not command premium prices, they still hold historical and educational value. Each coin serves as a tangible reminder of the time and circumstances in which it was used. The 1970 for quarters circulated during a period of economic change in the United States, including inflation and rising costs of everyday goods. As such, it represents not just a monetary unit, but a piece of daily life from that era. Collectors who focus on building complete date and mint mark sets of Washington quarters often include circulated coins like this one to fill gaps in their albums. These coins help build a timeline of American coinage history and give context to the series as a whole. Although this particular coin does not have a rare feature, it still contributes to the understanding of design consistency and national symbolism found throughout the Washington Quarter series. In conclusion, the 1970 for Washington Quarter without mint mark in circulated condition is a common and familiar coin from the late 20th century. While it does not possess high collector value due to its high mintage and evident where it plays a role in the larger story of United States coinage. For everyday collectors, history enthusiasts, or anyone curious about the journey of American money, this coin remains a small but meaningful artifact of its time. Coin 1970 for Washington Quarter dollar coin without mint mark condition circulated. This coin is part of the Washington Quarter series, which was introduced in 1930 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The 1970 for quarter continues the original design style used for decades before the state quarters program began in 1999. By this time, the coins were struck in a copper nickel-clad composition introduced in 1965, replacing the 90% silver plankets previously used. The obverse side of the 1970 for quarter features the left-facing portrait of George Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Above Washington's head appears the word liberty, and just beneath his chin is the national motto, "In God We Trust." The year 1970 is found at the bottom of the coin, as this example is circulated signs of wear are likely to appear on high points of the design, such as Washington's forehead hair and jawline. These areas often appear smooth or slightly flattened from years of handling and friction against other coins or surfaces. There is no mint mark on this coin, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. From 1968 onward, the Philadelphia Mint began including the letter P as a mint mark on some coins, but not on quarters until much later. So the absence of a mint mark is typical for quarters from Philadelphia during this period. Philadelphia quarters are generally the most common among all mints unless an unusual error or variety is involved. Next up we have 1980 to P Washington Quarter dollar coin condition fine. This coin is part of the Washington Quarter series, which has been issued continuously since 1932. The 1980 to issue comes from a decade where the United States Mint faced budget constraints and policy shifts that affected both production and distribution. The coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is indicated by the letter P mint mark appearing on the obverse. This is one of the earlier years when Philadelphia used the P mint mark on quarters, which makes it slightly more notable in the broader series. The obverse of the coin features the classic left-facing bust of George Washington based on the original, designed by John Flanagan. Above the portrait is the word liberty, while to the left in smaller lettering appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." Below the portrait is the year 1980 and just beside it is the P mint mark. Because the coin is in fine condition, most of the design details are still visible, though slight wear may appear on Washington's cheek, hairline, and jaw. The overall surface would retain moderate sharpness with smoothness only at the high points of the relief. The reverse design remains unchanged from previous years, showing a heraldic eagle with its wings spread. The eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing the balance between readiness for conflict and a desire for peace. At the top of the coin, the words United States of America appear curved along the rim, while E pluribus unum is centered just above the eagle. The denomination quarter dollar is written across the bottom. In fine condition, most of the feather details and line work are present, though areas of the eagle's chest or wings may be slightly softened by circulation. The composition of this coin is a copper nickel clad with a pure copper core. This gives the coin its familiar silver appearance, though it contains no actual silver content. These coins were designed for durability and long-term use in commerce. In fine condition, the coin likely retains its original shape and rim, but might show dullness on the surface and minor contact marks from handling and use. The edges are typically reeded and should still be mostly intact unless subject to heavy wear. One of the notable factors about 1980 to quarters is that the United States Mint did not produce official mint sets for this year due to cost-saving measures. This decision has had a lasting impact on the collector market because it means that high-grade uncirculated examples of 1980 to quarters are harder to find than other years. Many of the coins from this year were released directly into circulation, which contributed to more wear and tear. As a result, coins, even in fine condition, are now considered decent representatives of this date, especially from the Philadelphia Mint. While fine condition coins do not carry high premiums, they are still of interest to collectors assembling circulated sets or studying the mint's production practices from the early 1980s. Because the number of uncirculated coins is more limited for this year, some collectors seek out circulated examples in good to fine condition as affordable alternatives for completing their collections. The 1980 to P quarter also carries significance because it sits in a period just before the launch of major design changes in the quarter series. While it still uses the original Washington design, the following decades would bring various commemorative programs that dramatically altered the appearance and production of quarters in the United States. This makes earlier designs, such as the 1980 to coin, an important part of understanding the complete history of the denomination. There are no major double dies or widespread errors reported for the 1980 to P quarter, but individual coins may still display interesting minor flaws, such as die cracks, off-center strikes, or planchette anomalies. Coins with such characteristics can sometimes attract additional attention from error collectors, though they are not common and must be authenticated by experts. In fine condition without errors, the value typically remains modest, but its desirability is elevated slightly due to the lack of mint sets from this year. In conclusion, the 1980 to P Washington quarter dollar in fine condition represents a standard yet historically interesting piece of United States coinage. While not rare or extremely valuable, its position in a low mintage uncirculated year and its status as an early example with the P Mint mark make it a worthwhile coin for those who appreciate the evolution of American currency. It remains a solid entry in any circulated quarter collection and serves as a reminder of a transitional period in the production and distribution of United States coins.